Welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And
that's right.
We are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port here on a Thursday. It's Barnes, it's Tony, it's Zach.
Yep.
And it's 5 straight wins for your New York Yankees.
Wow.
Kev Dew still in hiding.
I guess he is still in hiding, huh, dude?
He did
He's
comment
working hard.
but I'm saying, well, there's a quick comment, and then he's gone. He's
Right.
not saying much. There's no Yankee boy talk. So all I'm saying is, like, people could say stuff all they want, but just remember that it's not going to be forgotten.
Put respect on his name,
Respect
dude.
on the Yankee name. How about that, Kev? Huh? Where are you, bud? Guarantee he doesn't comment the show. He's tight.
I'm sure he'll pop in for a second, dude.
You never know, right?
I guess so.
By the way, I was mentioning to you, prior to the show. Shout out my rep from ABC, Tom, giving me this hat. Just got it this morning. Firestone Country Club. We had talked about a couple weeks ago. How they had the senior PGA there, and Tiger, I think, won 7 Bridgestone Invitationals when the tournament was held there. This is an awesome hat. So pumped. I was talking to him this morning. Said he played the course. It was the nicest course that he's ever played.
Whoa.
Was playing well, and said it's 7,400 yards. And it was an interesting format. He was saying where how like usually a tournament or an outing, a lot of times best ball.
Right.
It was everybody plays their own ball, and then within the group, its lowest score gets counted, type of thing.
Oh, okay, that's pretty
so
cool.
going up against other groups,
Right. So I mean, really, at the end of the day, it really just is about who's the best golfer in your foursome, basically.
Yes.
That's kind of cool though. So you can like recruit one good guy, and then you can just kind of have a good time.
They call that a ringer, especially if you're like good at driving the ball. That's what they say.
Yeah.
But yeah, what an opportunity. So that seemed awesome. And then I sent him the picture of me interviewing Dog and was explaining that whole thing. And he was saying, he was like, I listen to the radio show all the time on my way home.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. And he said, he'd love to come here to the Horseshoe or whatever. So we
hell
may
yeah, dude.
see him in the next month or so. So let's
that would
go.
be awesome, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was great.
And he just went to play there? No.
It was through ABC, some type of thing with the salesman. So that seemed like a great opportunity, obviously. So that's great stuff, and I'd love to go there sometime as well. But we'll take the hat for now.
Yeah.
And we do have a couple comments. A Brian Barnaby leading us off.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Brian Barnaby said, "Let's go Yankees." Kev Dew, you've been a little quiet, son.
Oh my God,
doesn't want to hear it.
Son.
That's what I get riled about. There's people that love to be relentless, but then when you spin it around, they don't. Where are they? They don't want to hear it.
What's up,
Dan Grassa?
Oh my God, what else we got in the comments, Zach?
Matthew Gabriel says, "Let's go," and says, "Hey" to Barnes.
Hey Bonds.
Josh B says, "Yo fam, Thirsty Thursday, Yankees good. Hashtag TCA, hashtag Sportsport, hashtag DTV."
Josh is having a few White Claws on Thursday.
Yeah.
Dude.
Tony, though, by the way, was talking smack, Josh, that he doesn't believe the whole no hangover thing.
I think it's kind of ridiculous, to be honest. On the White Claws, I mean, that's nasty. What's your favorite flavor? Watermelon? Oh,
yeah. I think White Claws are gross. Yeah. Black cherry. We were talking about this last week. I swear to God, when that first came out, I thought that was the best drink I've ever tasted in my life. You thought so too?
Literally same deal.
Yeah.
Dude. Hundreds
oh my
of them,
God.
dude.
Do you
like
have white cherry, white
dude.
cherry? And then everybody was sold
Black
out
cherry,
of them for a little bit. The bars
my
and
God.
this
And then the variety packs. The number 2 variety pack came out lemon. Oh.
He says no hangover, but I beleave there's no hangover from what I was telling you before with the Sun Cruiser. By the way, I'm still not 100% with that name. I forget it all the time when
Sun
I'm
Cruiser.
like, like I'm kind of getting it.
I forget what I ordered at Bar A, but it was something different that also sounds like Sun Cruiser, but it's also an iced tea drink. Surfside.
Surfside
is
I've
what
had
I
that.
keep
Yeah,
saying.
that's a good
dude.
one. Yeah,
it's okay. But it's just so funny now that we really can't remember that name, Sun Cruiser. Got to remember that. Write that down.
Yeah.
But I feel like with Josh, we may have to get, like Josh block out like 48 to 72 hours. You can come here and we'll do back-to-back days. One day all White Claw, next day all Sun Cruisers. Compare the hangovers. Then we can go from there, dude. A real science experiment, you know?
Yeah.
The hypothesis.
Yeah.
Trial and error.
I definitely.
Solution.
And I don't know. I just for what I've found, okay, unless it's like 20, okay, if you're, and I kind of said this before the show, but if you're just having a seltzer, a beer, and not like a bunch of heavy IPAs, but on the lighter side,
right?
You're not going to be hungover. It's just the shots, the mixed drinks, and like tons of them. No, then it's over.
See, it's that sugar that creeps up, and I think with the mixed drinks, the soda too, and then if you're mixing like light and dark alcohols and stuff, like obviously you're gonna feel it in the morning.
Yeah.
But hey, I will tell you, dude. Yeah, night full of Guinness.
Night full of Guinness. Yes, I would like to do an experiment with you. 20 mixed drinks, like how you would be the next day, because you always are boasting, as Michael was kind of making fun of you before the show, that there's no hangover. I don't think you'd be saying that though. Honestly. 20 mixed drinks.
But like, are we sticking to like a gin and tonic all night, or
same drink? But
same drink.
I guarantee you. I want to film as soon as you wake up in the morning. Guarantee you're not feeling great, Tony.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like unless it's like a margarita or whiskey sours, I think I'll be fine.
Zach, do you believe any of this? I don't. I'll tell you that much.
I think you're gonna.
I mean, 20 is a lot, dude. Yeah, 20 is a lot. 20
like
is kind of crazy,
there's a difference with vodka, with mixed drinks, with hard alcohol. It's a completely different animal.
Ruyan just freaking plunked it in the water, by the way. I'm not sure what hole this is on.
Oh, who did?
Ruyan, Eric Van Ruyan.
Oh, Van Ruyan. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he's in third, I think, right now.
Wow.
So obviously tight though. Threw his arms up when he plunked it.
Throwing the arms up.
And like honestly, I mean, obviously didn't hear what they were saying, but it looked like he was kind of yelling at his caddy.
Wow.
So I don't know, man.
Blaming it on the caddy, that's weak, but good segue because we mentioned this yesterday. Obviously, had our preview. Excuse me.
Oh,
by the way,
shout
out Donut. I almost said Donut Delight. By the way, Tony and Michael didn't believe me, but I did not ask for extra cream. I do not mind extra cream because I do not have sugar in my coffee. Works out great. The Simply Nutty coffee, I would say, probably the best coffee that I've ever had.
Simply Nutty, really?
Yep. And also, I didn't realize, I was thinking it was $5. Actually, the large is just under $4. So I was there this morning. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I gonna do with the dollar?
Right.
You know what I mean? What am I gonna go to Cumberland Farms? Like, it's just like, might as well get the iced coffee. That's what I want. I still can't believe on 90-degree days you like hot coffee though. I still can't.
Oh, Matt Fitzpatrick plunks it in the water too.
Boy.
You know what it is though with the hot coffee though. For me, like I'll sit on a coffee for a while, because I'm just like scrambling during the day or working or whatever. So it's like if I have an iced coffee, by the time I like am halfway done with it, it's like all the ice is melted, it's watered down. Like I don't want that. I got the hot coffee. I can have it cold. Sometimes I literally like 7 o'clock at night. It's cold. It's sitting there. It's like ice cold. I'm like, this is great.
But you never just hammer it in the morning, especially if you're a little tired.
No.
See, I had like,
and honestly, that's the thing with iced coffee. I do tend to hammer more.
Yeah.
Because it's just ice. I'm like, and I'm with the straw and everything. Yeah. It's like, so it's gone too quick. It's condensations everywhere. Dude, everyone's plunking it in the water here in this hole. It's just kind of crazy.
Does it say what hole it is?
I gotta look next time the graphic pops up here. Everyone's tight, but
seems like maybe 14.
I think you might be correct here. Here's Ruin, by the way, who's took the drop.
Okay, Van Ruin.
Van Ruin.
Just looking at the leaderboard here.
Nice stroke and everything. Plops it right there. In front of the. Oh, it's gonna be a long.
Okay, he's on 18.
Oh, it's 18?
Yeah.
Okay, this is 18th hole then. That's tough, dude. But yeah, I don't know. And for me too, I don't know. Hot coffee I don't know. I mean, I'm not having it at the beach or anything, I guess, but
I feel like you are.
When am I having it at the beach, dude? Stop.
No, but I'm saying, because obviously we don't go to the, probably do usually go to the beach in the morning, but I'm saying if you did, wouldn't you have it on the beach?
Well, I guess so.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It doesn't really bother me.
But I guess what I'm getting at, is there's no weather correlation for you.
Not necessarily.
Do you drink coffee, Zach, or no?
Here and there, but not a big coffee guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, as everybody knows already, but I just I'm like, I guess obsessed, I guess you could say. And I feel like if it was like more convenient, I probably would have like 3 at least of this size every single day. But it usually ends up working, averaging out, I would say 2, probably.
Wow.
But me and John crack up because he likes coffee a lot too, but we call it Trips Right that I was saying that a lot of days I have three
3.
large. And he's just like, oh
Chips,
my
right?
God, like that's crazy. And I swear to God, every single time I go to a coffee shop,
Right.
maybe unless it was like 7, 8 o'clock at night and I like didn't want too much, but I can't not get a large either.
Oh, okay.
Is that a medium?
No, I believe this is the large.
But you get a lot of mediums or no?
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes
Yeah.
large, most of the time medium, I would say.
Okay.
Depends on the day. But also depends on like our schedule too. And now Donut Inn closes at 4, which is kind of crazy.
When did they used to close?
6.
Oh, okay.
Which obviously, I mean, I know it's just 2 hours, but it's a big difference. Dude.
Now, let's just say hypothetical.
John Rahm 300.
You had he's 500 unless he had a double bogey.
Oh, I don't know.
What hole is this?
It looks like he says he's on 17. This is his second shot.
You know what it is? Freaking PGAtour.com doesn't update. Okay, I gotta just look at this.
Yeah, I'm just watching the live feed.
Okay, so he had a double bogey.
Oh, dude. It was fucking 180 the hole. He must have hit it 178. Right in front of the pin. Yeah.
I mean, he had been having, a good round here.
He's wearing his Olympic red. Spain red.
I saw Scheffler was wearing red as well. But what I was going to ask you, let's say you had a lifetime unlimited coffee from Donut Inn.
Oh.
And it was just somehow, this is just obviously a fantasy situation, but where it didn't take any time out of your day to get the coffee. How many do you think you would have, honestly?
So, how many would I have a day?
Yeah.
I mean, probably 4, I guess. Right.
All right. So it makes me feel better that I'm not that crazy.
Like when you wake up.
Yeah.
And then depending on how early I was, waking up and having coffee right away, maybe another one before noon. And then like a 2 o'clock one and then like a 5 o'clock one,
Because my thing is always just been
nice, dude.
Like, how could if you're a coffee drinker, how could you not always go for a coffee?
I mean, no, yeah, exactly. And especially like, I don't know, there's maybe it is just because caffeine is a fucking drug.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, the whole aspect of getting a coffee, the social aspect of hanging out, sipping on coffee, maybe even getting a pastry, it's a nice midday break. You get a little sugar rush, a little caffeine high. And it's also, again, like I'm getting the hot coffee. So I just feel like a hot drink too in my hand, like is also soothing at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's just like an overall just great experience. And it's so funny that we're talking about this so much because I didn't start drinking coffee until I graduated from grad school, dude.
That is crazy.
I guess maybe the coffee here and there in grad school.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, dude, until I worked at MLB Network, I started drinking coffee then because, I was working 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. shifts. And those late shifts, you get free coffee actually at the network. So I was like, I might as well try it,
Oh, okay.
And then it just took off, dude, just like that. And then, of course, kind of stopped a little bit after MLB became here. Michael Theophil, Donut Inn. This is delicious. Like, I mean, how can you say no to that,
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Your mother says Starbucks is best.
My mother is a big Starbucks woman. She's like she gets the card, she gets the points, she's on the point system and everything.
The mobile order or no?
No, she doesn't do the mobile order or anything like that. At least I don't think so. She never has the app. She's probably starting to get into it, I'm sure. But she's caramel macchiatos, the black coffees, frappuccinos, whatever, dude. She'll get there. That's her go-to spot. My mother likes very strong coffee.
But you're saying though she gets it with other. It's not like it's black.
No, she doesn't get it black. But
Okay.
she likes strong flavored coffee, a lot of caffeine. And Starbucks is all right.
I don't have a problem with it. Obviously it's just a ripoff, but again, I mean, what else isn't?
And I mean, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
there's been like maybe 3 experiences at Starbucks that I've had where I've been like, wow, like that was really like
good.
a delightful experience. Coffee's good, the interaction was great. So I mean, it's whatever. I feel like they always wait a lot, But what is good though, whenever my mother, being a kid growing up, my mother goes to Starbucks, I used to get like a big ice water there.
Oh, really?
They give you ice water for free.
Oh,
so I used to get like a Trenta ice water.
Oh, a Trenta.
A Trenta, whatever that's their large there. I'm sure you can't be a big fan of saying grande instead of like large or small or anything.
No, I never say it.
Never say
honestly.
it.
Grande. There was something else I was gonna say about this. I also too does your dad like coffee or no?
Loves coffee.
Okay.
He is, I guess, more of a utility coffee drinker. Like he'll drink any type of coffee because it's just like caffeine, whatever. Gotcha. I once watched him at IHOP, and I was a kid, so I wasn't drinking coffee. He had 2 pots of coffee to himself.
2 pots to himself.
Like how they bring over the craft thing. 2 of those.
I mean, I used to tell you. I mean, I would have one pop for a class senior year.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I mean, the only thing that's annoying, I feel like if I don't even it out with enough water, then I can feel dehydrated. And then there's some thing that they say like, oh, it doesn't dehydrate. I don't know. That's
it definitely
nonsense.
does.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need some scientific explanation for that.
I feel thirsty right now, to be honest.
Oh, I know what I was gonna say.
What do you got?
With the mobile ordering, and it's weird because I don't consider myself like old school at all, but for whatever reason, I don't like if there's an option just to call for everything. I always call it. And like getting a coffee, I would never mobile order it, even though I guess it makes a lot of sense. I don't know why. It's just like, I don't know if it's like what I'm programmed to do or.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the whole point of getting a coffee is that it's just quick anyway.
Yeah.
It's the coffee's sitting there made.
Well, unless you're at the donut and drive through and then you're going to wait there an hour.
Which that's what it is. Like Starbucks does crazy drinks. So, it,
yeah.
you know, it takes them with the whipped cream, the chocolate shavings on it. You know, it might take a few minutes to make someone's drink. So mobile orders, I will say, the Starbucks I was at not too long ago, actually, with Michael. I'm standing in line like a schmo, and people are in and out constantly with the mobile orders.
Oh, it's Starbucks.
Yeah, Starbucks.
Oh, yeah.
So,
we have some good comments here. So your mother saying espresso with cold foam. I do mobile.
The cold
so she
foam.
does do mobile orders.
You,
you have to know what to order. Very true.
Yeah.
And then Matthew Gabriel says, I have my binoculars out. I'm trying to spot Kev Do. Can't see him. Absolutely love that one.
That is funny.
And it's funny. I honestly like just regarding like Mets, Yankees, and just fandom and stuff. I really could actually talk the whole show about this. But just to like kind of make it short here, you're gonna. I've kind of like alluded to this before, but let's just say, and I was talking to Matt about this yesterday. I got basically reamed out group chat yesterday by Mark.
Oh.
And you know, I've told you how he's just very like negative about the Yankees a lot. Yeah. So listen, like I'll be the first one. Oh, okay, sorry, just got a text. I'll be the first one to say like right now, like yes, everything's great, but of course there are like nothing's perfect or anything. But at the same time, it's like, do I feel pretty good that we're on a 5-game winning streak? Absolutely, and that Stanton's back, and the fact that Chisholm is absolutely on fire since he came over. And then, you got Volpe and Wells and Verdugo hitting now. So I feel like our offense is really good. I think we got to figure some stuff out on the pitching side of things, but we will. But so he doesn't, we're texting the other night when Jazz hits the 2 home runs and me, Corey, and Mike are saying like, oh, this is awesome. Jazz is the man, this and that. And then yesterday he starts out the group text with this long text saying about how the team sucks. Jazz, there's no way that he could keep it up. Boone is going to fumble it. He shouldn't be the manager. Cashman should be the GM. So like all down track like that. And I'm just like,
jeez,
bro, are you kidding me? Like I understand. Yeah, I don't like Boone and Cashman either. But at the same time, like we're in the midst of the season. We know that's not changing right now. And we just won 5 in a row. And like I said, I know everything's not perfect. I'm not saying it's a guarantee we're going to like win it all or anything, but I feel pretty good. And he was like literally like yelling at me saying that I'm just like unrealistic. And it's like, that's just how it is, that like, there's like nothing good to take away from this team. And he's not gonna get his hopes up. Like, am I missing something here, Tony? Is that not insane?
I mean, I think it's very like pessimistic. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I texted Josh too, because Josh happened to be texting me at the same time. And I go, Josh, honestly, he makes you look very optimistic. And he said, no, I'm very even.
Yeah, okay,
but
Josh.
I mean, it might be a little below that bar, just a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's kind of, I mean, again, I understand maybe not thinking like, oh, like this is like we're going like
right,
this,
not going, but it's not over.
I wouldn't say
how the hell would it be over? Are you kidding me?
Especially like, I mean, it wasn't really over before the deadline. I guess certainly not over now. Like
we're
better.
in a better spot.
Yeah.
And like that's it. Like I don't think I'm being crazy. Right. I think we have a pretty good shot. And also too, tell me I'm wrong here. Look around the league. I don't think there's some team that's head and shoulders above everybody else. I mean, we just swept the Phillies. The Dodgers have struggled at times.
Yeah.
The Orioles have been struggling for a while. Who is this crazy juggernaut that like is so much better than everybody else? That doesn't exist.
There is none. Like you said, I mean, the Phillies are struggling right now. The Braves are injured. Even the Astros started off terribly. Yeah. They went on a hot streak, obviously, but they're not, their record isn't above anyone else that big. And look at even how I guess, anticlimactic this deadline has been too. No one has been vastly improved either. All these teams are basically still, in the same spot they were, before the deadline. So, it's anybody's ball game. It's anybody's World Series to take right now. And then, I think that makes for some great baseball. But I mean, it gives the Yankees a good spot. I mean, I think still.
Right. And I guess it's just for him, it sounds like he has a tough time dealing with the fact that he doesn't like that those two are in their positions, which, like I said, I don't like. But at the same time,
Phillies and the Dodgers?
No. Cashman and Boone. Which is like, I don't like that, but it doesn't take away from my enjoyment of watching all the games and being into the season.
I mean, is there any way that Mark just wanted this season to blow up to get rid of Boone and Cashman? Is that really what he wants?
I think he just wants him gone just in general, whatever it takes.
But that's what I mean. Like that. I mean, obviously, if the Yankees go on,
said that, but it seems like to be honest, it seems like he enjoys complaining. I swear to God, I don't know what it is.
Sometimes complaining is nice.
And I get it. We grew up in an era where we were spoiled and had all these guys, but it's like, listen, it's not going to be like that. And also, I mean, let's face it, there's more parity in the league. You're not going to have teams like the 98 Yankees winning 120 games. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, there's no way, dude.
You have to kind of reset your expectations. And it's also too, I mean, you saw me. I mean, I was literally losing my mind, mentally insane for 6 weeks about how bad the Yankees were playing. I hated that. I thought it was ridiculous. I thought there was no reason for it, but I can move forward now that we're seeing something else. It seems like we have an opportunity. So I guess I just don't get and I was even saying to him, I don't understand your negativity. It's not going to change the results on the field. So why not just enjoy the season and see what happens? And to say we suck and have no chances, I feel is insane. I think we're easily top 5 team in the game and probably top 3, to be honest. So I don't get where this just because it's Boone and Cashman, and it's also too, you want to point to the bullpen. The bullpen's not great, but at the same time, and I think I even mentioned this yesterday, teams with terrible bullpens have won World Series. They've pulled starters out of the bull. You could work it out. It can be okay.
Obviously, he doesn't think so.
But right though, I mean, am I missing something? And like I said, Josh was kind of making fun of me yesterday about the over optimistic, but I feel I've been consistent. I'm not nothing. Of course, nothing's guaranteed, but I feel we have a pretty good shot. And I'm going to hope for the best. And I think we have something to work out. And to me, that's the level-headed way to look at it.
Yeah, no, I would say that is very level-headed. Yes.
And I think the biggest thing for me too, when I look back at our failures, is the fact that we haven't hit in the postseason. And I just feel we have the best offense that we've had probably since 2017. Honestly.
And honestly, I could see Stanton having a stellar postseason.
Yeah.
He's had before, And then again, you have other pieces like Soto, Volpe, come on, dude. Volpe's gonna be licking his chops in the post. He's gonna be so happy.
Yeah, exactly. And then one other thing too, because I feel the last couple of days I'm big on just ripping people apart, kind of a little bit.
Yeah, a lot.
Have you heard of David Sampson? He was a former president of the Marlins.
Name sounds very familiar.
Okay, yeah. And had a terrible tenure. He was on with Lebitard and Stugatz. They were talking about this on the Fan, and they literally go. He was saying how. Oh, the whole story with Jazz and Jeter is fake, and he's not going to be able to handle it when he goes 1 for 13 in New York. And kind of shitting on him. It's so he was gone. He was only there through 2017. He wasn't even there with Jazz. And they're saying, oh, well, he lives in the area. Maybe he knows. But it's just to me, it just sounded completely sour grapes. It's who the fuck is this guy? No one even knows who he is. And it's I don't know. You weren't even there when Jeter was there with it just seems I don't know, somebody that's just jealous of not being involved in the situation. I have no idea.
I mean, it seems like you said, sour grapes, by the way. Xander just missed a putt for par here. Probably a 6-foot putt too. But yeah, it's kind of out of pocket for him to say that.
Yeah. It just seems like somebody trying to get people to recognize
look at him.
Yes, exactly.
How long was he with the Marlins?
I think it was 5-6 years at least. Yeah, he was the president. So I don't know. I think that was just weird that
he was there with Jazz and
but
Jeter,
I think it was before. Yeah, and I don't know, the Jeter push to have him on the show cover. It just seemed like there must be something he probably had a bad exit.
That's such bullshit. The whole league was pushing for Jazz to be the face of the sport. Out of town, dude.
Nonsense.
Who was this guy? John Ron putting for birdie here.
I already forgot his name. No, I'm just kidding. But I want to do the recap. But before we do that, of the golf. Couple other comments here. Yanni back again. So he says, so once again, Barnes gets his way. No Mets even mentioned in the header today. It could have easily started out with the Mets don't complete the sweep.
Could have been.
And I think I could be wrong. I didn't ask anybody about this, Lonnie, but I think it's because I've kind of mentioned a couple of times, seems like the Yankees have been put in the back seat here, but finally, the Mets kind of, get embarrassed yesterday. I mean, obviously you still won the series. Good. Sevy popped.
Yeah, leave it to a former Yankee to embarrass the Mets.
I think it's just one of those things where there's not really much to say about the Mets from yesterday. And then Josh says, you sound like Cashman. I mean, I really don't think so. I mean,
in terms of what?
I don't know.
Being like there's a shot at a World Series?
But I mean, even Josh thinks like there's a shot. It doesn't mean that it's like a amazing shot and it's like a 90% chance. But I think it's a decent chance and it's like worth seeing out. It's not like just giving up on the season. And then Yanni says, that's what I'm trying to say, Barnes. LOL. I think he's talking about the title, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
A
lot going on right now, right?
There's a lot going on. So I'm trying to, I'm getting confused by the golf. But the course looks gorgeous. These guys walking through, even like the rough area, the grass looks beautiful.
Yeah.
As Ortiz here from Mexico plops it in the water here on 18.
Wow,
dude,
Carlos.
It must be kind of tough. Oh, you know Carlos Ortiz?
Yeah. Boy, why? I'm on the Olympic website because he plays for Live now, but he used to play on the PGA Tour.
Oh, okay.
But the Olympic website should be updated here. Oh, competition interrupted, lightning risk.
Oh, really?
That's what it says on here.
Oh, yeah.
But it says Carlos is only on the 16th hole.
Yeah, I'm watching now Fitzpatrick on 17.
But it's definitely Ortiz on 17.
Yeah.
So weird. Okay, well, do you have a like something that shows the updated leaderboard?
Updated leaderboard? No, I was just because the PGA isn't updated, like the PGA.com isn't updated. So I was just watching live on NBC. I gotta change these batteries.
But yeah, while you're doing that, I mean, from what I see on here, I guess this is a little behind, but we'll just give you what we have. So Hideki with the round of the day here, a 8 under 63. So off to a great start here. Xander, I guess, is playing the 18th. It says he's 6 under now. Did you say he hit one in the water?
Yes.
Okay, so missed a par. Okay, so he probably finished at 5 under. Then I'm guessing. So 5 under there. So that would be a 66 for Xander. Ortiz hit one in the water. Yes. Ortiz hit one in the water, so he'll probably drop a shot. He was 6 under the last time this was updated. Neiman, 5 under 66. Grillo, 5 under 66. Tom Kim, 5 under 66. Mito Pereira, 5 under through 14. Ryan Fox, Tommy Fleetwood, Sepp Straka, Scotty Scheffler, Eric Van Rooyen, all shooting 67. Rahm, it says, is playing 18 and is 4 under. It did have a double bogey, I believe, on 16. And then you had Aubert 3 under 68, Hovland 3 under through 17, Jason Day 2 under through or finished at 69. Nice. And then Colin Morikawa 1 under through 16. And let's see what else here. I mean, low round of the day or high round of the day, I guess you could say. Camilo Villegas, 5 over 76. Minwoo Lee, 5 over 76. And by the way, is it just me or did you have no idea Minwoo Lee is from Australia?
We talked about that, didn't we?
No, I don't think so.
I thought we mentioned it.
Maybe you did, but
he's playing for Australia. Maybe I was talking to Zach about
it. You probably were. Yeah. Because I don't think it was me.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. But yeah, 5 over 76. And then Wyndham Clark continuing to struggle. Plus 475. It's amazing. I mean, other than that, rain shortened AT&T Pebble Beach, he's really not followed up that win at the U.S. Open last year.
What do you think it is, dude? Just the flash in the pan. Like,
could it really be? Could be. Honestly, Shane Lowry 1 under.
Young Hanan, I believe, was even.
But pretty impressed with the course.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. And yeah. I think we mentioned they hosted the Ryder Cup in 2018, the French Open in 17.
I didn't even know there. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but I didn't even know there was a French Open. Kind of curious. Golf.
I mean, that's what they reported. I've never, obviously, 2017
Open de France
is a bit out of my grasp.
Caso Open de France, established 1906. Tony,
there we go. Been around.
Let's see. Does it say? Okay, it's played in September.
Okay.
It's part of the DP World Tour, but your defending champion was Rio Histatune, 14 under, 2 shots clear of Jordan Smith and Jeff Winter.
September DP World Tour. It sounds like Brian's knee deep in baseball by then. So
true, but
yeah.
I there's always room for some golf, just like a little bit,
even
little
DP.
Sprinkle. Yeah, I love just watching golf on TV. I don't even need even when it's the DP World Tour. Like a lot of times, Saturday, Sunday, like early in the morning, that's on. I'm watching just to see the announcers, the level par, and all that. You know, it's always a good time.
Learn a thing or two, maybe.
Learn a thing or two. Could definitely use a couple pointers. Did we have a couple more comments that trickled? I thought Lonnie said something
Trickling
about
comments.
He just said yes. The title header talk. You got to be so specific with you. So a little bit of a scud there, you think, or no?
Yeah, I think so. Wow, scud. Haven't heard that word
but
in
again,
a while,
that was Lonnie,
dude.
and he did on Twitter yesterday talk about me calling in the Grassa and did say scud.
The scuds, the drops.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that's really what we have for the golf. We'll keep an eye out if anything changes between now and end of the show. But let's go now to the world of Major League Baseball.
What a play! Stop it! Yep. And Alonso cracks one. The Mets win the ball game. Out of sight.
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeouts.
Drilled deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
All right. So the Yankees completing the sweep yesterday in Philadelphia. Winning 6-5. So sweeping the Phillies here, the best record in the National League. So it is remarkable. 5 straight wins now. And have not lost, Tony, since we were in the pool on Friday night. Kind of crazy. And you remember the state of me that night. We're not even a week later here. And
obviously, we talked about it. One player can really make a difference to your roster. Jazz is that type of player. And it's not even that he is playing well. It's clearly his demeanor and personality is just gelling well with the rest of the lineup. And you get some solid pitching in there. Obviously, the offense that has been so good recently. How could you not look at this team and be like, hey, we're going to go on a little bit of a run here. Like, this is great. You're gaining momentum. This is something that you're probably going to be seeing for the rest of the year from the team, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what a series here, and how about the fact too that this is one of those things that there is not. Maybe besides LeMahieu himself, that anybody ever would have thought going into this game that DJ LeMahieu would not only hit a grand slam, but would drive in all 6 runs for the Yankees. Unbelievable performance here, and they really needed it from him. Nestor kind of did what I expected. I think I had him pegged
5
for
third, right?
6 innings, 3 earned. He goes 5 1/3, 3 earned. Gives up 3 hits, 2 walks, strikes out 6, and does allow that home run to Wilson in the 2nd inning. Yankee bullpen does a pretty good job here. Mark Leiter did run into a little bit of a trouble, but the strikeout saved him there. Giving up a run over 1 inning.
It's so funny hearing that name.
I know.
Mark Leiter.
After saying Al for all these years. And I actually am mistaken. Luke Weaver did give up a run actually himself. So he's been a little spotty recently. You got 2 outs from Tommy Kahnle and then an eventful 9th inning, which we'll get to. But in terms of, the scoring synopsis here. Oh, and by the way, too, Sanchez, we had talked about, he'd been struggled. I think now he's given up 18 runs his last 3 starts, 5 2/3, 8 hits, 6 runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, and the 1 grand slam allowed to DJ.
Crazy.
But that is how the scoring started. 2nd inning, and it was interesting. LeMahieu hits it. It was one of those balls that's like right at the top of the wall. They originally called it ground rule double, reviewed grand slam. So you love to see that. The old wag of the finger there gives the Yankees a 4-0 lead. The Phillies do answer back in the 4th twice. A Bohm ground out scored. Kyle Schwarber and then Nick Castellanos singling scored Austin Hayes. And then that home run to Wilson there in the 5th made it 4-3. But fortunately for the Yankees, DJ LeMahieu taxed on a couple runs with a double to get up to 6 RBIs in the 6th inning. Kind of crazy how that works out.
Kind of crazy.
Scored Verdugo and Volpe. Castellanos with a RBI grounded off Weaver in the 6th, made it 6-4. And then Leiter, we talked about running into trouble in the 8th, makes it 6-5. But thank God gets out of the inning. And then it was interesting to end that. I think it was to end that inning. Alex Verdugo makes this insane catch in the corner. I was listening on the radio because I was coming back from an appointment, and I guess the announcers couldn't see. So is it gone? Did it fall? Is it like a double? What's going on? And he makes the catch. Ricky Ricardo was on the call with Susan. What a guy. So that happens. And then, you get to the 9th inning, Clay, gives up a hit. And then, again here, Austin Hayes hits one deep into the corner to Verdugo. And I guess, again, it was like right at the wall off the bat. Everybody thinks it's gone, makes the catch. And then fortunately, Clay's able to get a double play off the bat of Bryce Harper to end the game, give the Yankees a sweep. So Clay gets his 22nd save of the year. Only throwing 7 pitches in that bottom of the 9th inning. Nestor the win. I think it was his first road win since last season, Tony.
Wow.
So he's really struggled on the road. At the end of the day, now the Yankees are back to 20 games over 500, have an off day today, and start August. I mean, you look at the schedule, I believe it's only 6 games out of the 27 that they play are against teams with winning records. So seems like a manageable schedule.
Yeah.
We'll start with Toronto tomorrow. And obviously, they sold off a couple pieces. But I think
Justin Turner,
the off day is good. Kikuchi as well, and IKF. But the off day is good simply because the bullpen's been used a lot. Starters haven't been going too deep. So I think it's good to get a little reset there. I saw after the game yesterday, Marinaccio option back down again.
Really?
That's one thing that just keeps pissing me off. It's like, I don't know. I just don't get what that is. I think what I'm guessing is De Los Santos maybe wasn't ready for yesterday's game for whatever reason. So they needed him and then sent him back down to bring him up. Oh, he has options left, but we're burning through all of his options. So don't quite get it. But needless to say here,
and he's 29, right?
Yes. Yeah. We talked about that yesterday. Yeah. 29 years old.
Come on.
So you're off today, and then tomorrow night, it'll be Stroman Gaussman. So Marcus Stroman looking to recover here, against his former team. And I was going to look at the rest of the, probables for the weekend. I haven't heard when they have, Cole scheduled here. So,
Cole.
Okay, it looks like they're targeting Sunday because they don't have any starters listed just yet for that game. So I think they're going to make sure he's good to go. But it'll be Rodon and Barrios on Saturday. So you got the 7:00 game Friday, and then 2 day games Saturday, Sunday. And then you go. You have another, actually 2 home series. So this is actually a 9-game homestand. LA and Texas, 2 teams that have been great, especially the Angels have been just a shell of themselves. They trade away Esteves, and I think we had lost a game there in Anaheim to them earlier this season. So be good to get a nice sweep here. But then after Texas, Chicago and Detroit, Tony. So this is the stretch where you get right. You figure everything out with the bullpen, and it's crazy. Even with the implosions and the nervous, and he's adapted the nickname here, Cardiac Clay. Holmes' ERA is still under 3. Everybody talks about it on Yankee Twitter all the time.
They can't take that.
What do you mean?
Because there's already Cardiac Kemba. You can't do Cardiac Clay.
But it's a different thing. Cardiac Kemba was more like, because he's gonna win the game. Clay is like, you're gonna lose the game.
Yeah, but come on.
I don't know.
Come on.
But either way, you think I like it? Like, how about pitch better, and then we don't have to call you that?
But come on, like you said, dude. I mean, these series coming up. Like, give me a break here.
Give me a break.
Toronto sucks. Angels sucks. Rangers could be competitive. Chicago, stop it. And then you're in Detroit too. Like, it looks like you have back-to-back series against Detroit. Oh, is it a makeup game?
Probably a makeup game.
Sunday the 18th, because you're back at Yankee Stadium for the 3rd game of that series. It looks like that's interesting.
Let me just actually check that out.
Right, because it's an ESPN Sunday night game too. Is that why it doesn't say at Detroit on ESPN? That would be why, though, right?
I'm just seeing.
There's an asterisk.
Game
played at neutral location.
Where the hell is the game?
It's not like they're not doing a Field of Dreams shit again.
Let me just take a look at this.
This is kind of interesting. I'm getting juiced up.
I can't believe I wouldn't know. Oh, it's the Little League Classic. I don't know why I didn't know that they were doing
Really?
that.
I didn't know they were doing that either.
So that'll be on Sunday Night Baseball.
Where is that?
That's interesting. Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Oh.
that's interesting. But clearly,
I don't know how.
the schedule very manageable here. So I think this is a perfect opportunity. When you look at this, I know, there's so much season left, Tony, and you don't know how guys are going to perform. Obviously, last month, I guess, at least, Clay hasn't looked great. How do you see that playing out? I mean, you think, especially again, we're talking about a manageable schedule here. You think it's like they're going to do everything in their power to get him right? And if you had to take a guess, do you think, coming postseason time, he's still going to be the closer, or do you think they're going to end up having someone else be at the back of the bullpen?
I mean, I'm just trying to think of who else you could possibly have.
Leiter, Weaver. You have Hamilton coming back. Efros.
I feel like Hamilton for me is the closest thing to a closer role.
Yeah.
But even so, dude, I think I would, if I were the Yankees, I would try my hardest to get Holmes right.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day,
his stuff is great.
His stuff is great. ERA right now is 2.82.
Yeah.
I know as of recent, I mean, you talk about the tapers. You want to look at his last 5 games. I guess 2 of them he's given up runs. But I mean, I guess what was that? Was it against Boston where it was tight, right?
Yes.
You're talking a couple runs right there. Obviously, that's no good. And then I guess actually against the Phillies, right? You have a run to go to extras, no?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, wild pitch.
Oh shit. Okay.
So
Well,
the control at the end of the day, it's not like he's getting hammered. It's the control is the
which
problem.
is honestly in my expertise, which may be none. I would think that's one of the best things for like a reliever or closer to have a problem with is their control, because I feel like that would be a mechanical issue.
Mhm.
You got to figure it out. It's not like he's nervous up there or anything.
But you don't think any of it's mental, honestly? You think it's all just mechanical?
I would think it stems from mechanical issues.
Yeah.
I would think so.
I mean, because we've seen him have good control before, and there is something to it. It doesn't make any sense because it's like one pitch, but I swear it's like, it seems like it's all determined on the first pitch. If the first pitch is way up, then it seems like, oh boy. But if it's like right down the middle, it seems like he just locks in and that sinker just keeps dropping.
Yeah. I'm trying to look at any, like, let's see, maybe some postseason. Let's see, postseason pitching here. How have you done in the postseason? Let's see here.
He hasn't really pitched that much.
I guess not really. Let's see in the DS. He has had 4 games, 3 innings, 2 walks, no hits. I mean, that's pretty solid. 5 strikeouts over those 3 innings in 2022. Championship Series 2.
He probably barely pitched because they got swept.
Yeah, he pitched 2 2/3 though. Gave up 2 hits, 2 strikeouts.
Okay.
I mean, it looks, again, like you want to talk about mental. I mean, it seems like in the postseason, I mean, he's given up, I think, 3 hits so far in, I don't know, 4 appearances in the postseason. So, I mean, that's not terrible.
Yeah.
So I would think, I mean, this guy, if he figured out the mechanical issue come October, this guy's going to be your closer. Yeah, I would say yes. And I would be honestly like pretty happy with it if he gets the command down.
I mean, and it's weird though, because it's like every year we've seen him. It almost like, I guess if we just group last season with this season, it's almost been Chapman-like, but not as bad on the bad end of things.
Right.
But maybe not as like dominant with the strikeouts on the good end. But it's just like, so, the 5.59 ERA in June, it's 3.38 this month. It was 3.27 in May, and then a 0 ERA combined with April and March. So is it like maybe he's just like the Yankees themselves, like got that bad stretch out of the way, and then maybe he's going to start to figure some out. He made that big play, on Tuesday night covering first, and then he gets out of the jam yesterday, of which trouble. I mean, even when it's like some of it seems like, wow, like everything lined up, almost like it seemed like luck in a sense, like with that home run not going and getting Harper to ground and double play. But even when that stuff happens, even if it does feel a little lucky, do you think because it went well that it still gives him more confidence moving forward?
Oh, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if the Yankees are still winning and you're closer regardless, I mean, that should be, definitely bolstering your confidence. I'm looking at these, month by month splits. It is kind of crazy that, April and March, obviously giving up no runs.
Yeah.
I mean, he pitched the most amount of innings, obviously, within that month and a half stretch there. And then since then, it just hasn't, I guess, been as good as that. But I mean, again, you want to look at these games piece by piece here. I don't think this guy is losing you games. And like you said, I mean, his stuff is there. If he just dials it in a little bit, I feel like he's going to get back to what he was looking like in March. I mean, that's going to be pretty huge.
And I think there's a couple of things. And listen, like these are things that I feel like a lot of major leaguers, like it makes them better. But a couple of things with him, I feel like I wouldn't bring him in the middle of an inning because sometimes the control is bad. Also, he's a ground ball guy, so you're going to bring him in with runners on first and third, like in Boston when he gave up that hit. It's like he's giving up a ground ball, but you're putting runners on before he's out there. I don't think that's the right situation for him because he's not a dominant strikeout pitcher. And then also I feel like you can't. Sometimes he will go, he hasn't pitched in 7 days, 8 days. When they were losing and stuff. I feel like you got to, even if it doesn't line up. Yes, exactly. He needs to pitch regularly. So I feel like you do those things. I think he's going to end up pitching a lot better.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess I didn't really ask you, but do you think in October, like he's closing games?
I think it's all dependent on what he does down the stretch.
Right. No, but I mean, do you think he will do well down the stretch here?
If I had to take a guess just based on his track record, because it's so funny. I mean, we hammer him as fans.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, I'll pull it up. And I know, listen, I mean, there's stuff that.
I mean, you demand a lot. You demand perfection from this guy, obviously.
Right.
So, like, that's what it is. And we talk about it all the time, positions
Rivera,
like that.
Too.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You're expecting Mariano, which obviously crazy ceiling to be like, that's where you're at. But then also on top of it, I feel like everyone in a closing position, you always remember the runs they give up,
not the games
they close out,
easily,
Yeah. So I think that's really what it is at the end of the day too, because Clay Holmes, I mean, is a good closer, can be, I guess.
So he's pitched 4 years with the Yankees and he has a 2.57 ERA and has closed 66 games for us.
Right.
And
over the course of how many years?
4 years.
Okay.
And in the most home runs, it's crazy. Somehow, I mean, obviously there's still a lot of time left in this season. He's only given up 2 home runs in each of his 4 seasons. Like, so 2 home runs each season. I mean, that's not many home runs to give up at all.
That's fucking awesome.
I'm just looking walk wise. I mean, 12 this year. He had 23 last year. I mean, he's actually really, I mean, the numbers, I guess, are pretty good. The only thing this year, actually, though, he has given up 48 hits in 44 2/3. So that's one thing. I think it was a rough stretch. So a lot to be determined. But I think, let's see how the next 2 weeks work out. And you would like to see him just string together a couple of performances where it's 1, 2, 3. Because when he first took over for Chapman, it was amazing because we're so used to Chapman, high wire act, all that. And every time it would be 1, 2, and 3 with him. A lot of ground balls and stuff. So, and I just read you those numbers. I mean, clearly he's been a good pitcher for us. So I would say, let's give this a chance. And now it's nice too. Of course, down the stretch, we want to win every game. We want to win this division. We're still a half game back of Baltimore. But I think at least now where if God forbid he does blow a game in the next couple of weeks, it won't be the end of the world like it was literally last week because we just had lost every game. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I feel like it would be for him though.
For him, yes. But I'm just saying where I think it's worth taking the chance just to see if he can get right. And it's like, listen, let's give him a couple of weeks. Let's see what happens. Let's follow the plan I laid out, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I like that.
So that's really what we have with the Yankees, and then just a couple more comments here. Lonnie saying the lingo, I'm guessing he's talking about language, something like that. And then he says the last guy in the MLB opening clips is special, 99 baby. And of course, like I've said, favorite player of all time. Matthew Ryan says Yankees sweep Phillies. How about that, Tony? Back to Yankee Town. So a couple of things. So first, I mean, what was the eye roll with the favorite player of all time, Judge? Let's hear that first. I know, so you look at Zach, so don't say you didn't.
Yeah, I did, and I did roll my eye. No, it's just funny because I was just thinking about what Lonnie meant in the what was the clips? What clips you talking about? But he's thinking about it was the video, the intro video, the in bump for baseball. Which I mean, I guess that's fine. It just seemed like it was a comment that was just not necessary. It's whatever.
Wait, what do you mean? Lonnie's comment?
Yeah, I just feel like it came out of nowhere.
Well, I mean, he's watching the show. He sees the video. I mean, how's that really out of nowhere? I mean, it's on the screen. No?
Yeah. But for me, it's out of nowhere. It's just like we weren't talking about Judge.
I think you don't have a problem with Judge, so I don't get why you're tight about it.
No, I know
you hate Judge or something.
I wouldn't say I hate him. No.
Well, but see, there is like a little. Is it like you're kind of jealous that he's on the Mets? Is that what it is?
I mean, obviously,
no,
like,
there would seem like a little
sure,
something. But no, in all seriousness, because I get it. Like, if you had the same guy, I mean, obviously you would be like, damn, like I wish I had a guy like that. I mean, is that kind of what it is? Like, he's so good. It's like, why can't we get somebody like that? I mean, is that?
I mean, obviously, I would like to have him on the team.
So that's what I'm saying is there's a little animosity there for you.
No, I don't hate him because he's not on the Mets, though.
Okay. But I'm saying, I don't know. It just seems like there's something. I'm just trying to like understand.
I feel like you just want to keep talking about this and make something.
No, because
no.
But all seriousness, listen, I know I'm crazy at times. But I just wanted to know, I guess, more what was the root of the look is what I'm trying to get.
It was just a statement. It caught me off guard. So I was like, oh,
me saying that he's my favorite player of all time.
Best of all time. He's the greatest.
No, I never said anything about the greatest. I said he's my
That's
favorite.
what Lonnie said, right? He's the greatest.
What did Lonnie said special.
Special. All right.
I mean, that's not a crazy comment. I think there is a little jealousy here. I don't know. As a Mets fan, Zach, how do you feel about Judge?
I don't really have a problem with Judge or any of the players on the Yankees for that matter. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's really just sometimes with any team, fans get out of hand, but I don't have any problems with players,
and I feel like it's different. I'm not saying he's
like,
the best player of all time. I'm saying he's my favorite.
Right.
Like, and it's like I think that's understandable given what he's done when he's healthy with the Yankees. I mean, it's not and the only thing you could say is like, oh, well, they haven't won a championship with him. But I guess it just, to me, it feels different because like what is going to stick out to me, what's most recent in my life as an adult.
Right.
I've seen his whole carear.
Yeah.
I saw him explode with 50 plus home runs as a rookie. Why wouldn't he be my favorite player? Like, you know what I mean? It's like the production is insane.
Why wouldn't he be? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess if we want to think about it, I mean, the Yankees obviously have tremendous. I mean, it could be any Yankee. It could be your favorite player.
But don't you think though, even the Yankees or the league in general? I mean, I just feel like he's on a different tier. Like, there's not many players that you grew up with.
Oh, right now,
yes,
of course, yeah.
So that's why it's like I feel like it's like insane, especially the fact too, nobody hits for average and power anymore.
Sorry, this light, I guess, is out of battery again. But no, yeah, I think you're totally right. I mean, he's, I mean, he leads the league in like almost every offensive category right now, right? So yeah.
And it's like what, last 80 games he's hitting 360 with like
crazy
30 home runs.
Yeah.
What? Like
drawing a lot of walks.
So yeah, that's then not to mention that he's great in the field. He can move well for someone who's 6'7". I mean, I've always said it's like a modern day Babe Ruth that could field, that could run. So of course it's been a treat to watch him, and like that he finally has some help now. And looking forward to the rest of the season. And as Tony takes care of that, and before we get to the Mets, a couple more from Lonnie. So a lot of comments from Lonnie today, saying, by the way, the studio looks great, guys. So appreciate that. And then a little scud at Tony, which is interesting. Tony kind of taking it on the chin right now. Says Judge is greater than the great Lindor, Tony. Say different, chump. Wow. So, I mean, you don't usually see Lonnie kind of like going for, I guess a somewhat mild attack here, but you don't usually see him like kind of do it, especially with you, Tony. I don't know if I've ever seen him do that, to be honest.
What do you? Oh, he's calling me a chump. Say different.
Yeah, he's trying to say, like, obviously you can't say that. You'd look like a fool saying Lindor is better.
I mean, sure, dude. I mean, like, like, what do you want me to say? This is why Yankee fans are so tough, dude, because they just can't handle, honestly, sometimes being good, and it's just tough, dude.
But you don't. One simple thing, because I know we could talk about this till the cows come home, Tony. But you don't understand just at all how it's like we just look at history, Mets, Yankees on a completely different atmosphere in terms of success, winning, all of that. So why we would feel that we wouldn't have to hear anything about the Mets because there's no leg to stand on. That doesn't make any sense to you.
I mean, I don't know, not necessarily. I mean, I understand, like, you can't argue with history.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, it has been, I don't know, like what, 15 years, right? Since 2009. So it's like, I mean, there's a long-standing like drought in the Bronx specifically without a World Series. And I mean, you're looking at teams that they've, like, all right, like the Astros, let's say. All right. Like, I guess maybe cheating isn't maybe not the best example, or even, I guess maybe even, teams that the Yankees haven't been able to get through in the postseason besides the Astros having trouble with like, I don't know, like, those people can say certain things, right? Can they not? Because like if they're beating the Yankees now.
But isn't it specific though? Like I'm just talking about, like you're saying a Yankee fan, so I'm just talking about Mets fans, just how we pursue it. And even you could say the 15 years and these other teams being better,
right?
But at the same time, throughout that 15-year period, which is one of our worst in franchise history, we still have been way better than the Mets, though. You know what I mean? So that's why it's like why we would have the mindset of like, what is there even to say?
But see, like that, I think that's like better than the Mets.
Well, because we're just talking about the two teams. So why we would think that we wouldn't be subject to any type of chirps from the Mets fan because it just feels like, what are you chirping about?
I mean, at the end of the day, like the Mets have been in the World Series more recently than them. You want to look at how those teams have matched up in recent history. It's been pretty even. If not, we've seen the Mets beat the Yankees. And then we've seen seasons as recent as 3 seasons ago, I guess it is now 2 seasons ago, when the Mets had had a better record than the Yankees at the end of the year.
But if you still did a side-by-side comparison of those 15 years, it's not even close in terms of wins and playoff wins.
Sure,
and all
yeah,
that stuff.
But at the end of the day, I mean, both teams are not winning World Series, and like that's really what it is.
But you just don't get though, like the angst, I can't believe. When did I even say that, by the way? Because I feel like you were playing
the angst. I just feel angst.
But what was I talking about?
You're talking about the Yankees.
Okay, but angst, like, what is that even?
Angst is like nervousness.
Okay.
If you can find it on the soundboard, Zach, it's just labeled angst. Maybe page like 8 or 7. I feel angst.
But just why? Okay, so but what I'm getting at is like, so just based on that comparison, you really don't see why it's like we would all have the attitude of like, we don't want to fucking hear from the Mets. Like, are you kidding me?
Angst.
Like that doesn't make any sense though. Just to try to get on the same level, that doesn't make any sense at all to you.
I mean, honestly, it's tough, dude. I mean, I've heard it like even from like I know people who are Marlins fans or Nationals fans, and I've heard shit from them in regards to how they match up against the Mets. And obviously, like Nationals, they won a World Series more recently, but at the end of the day, they still suck. But I mean, sometimes they lose to the Mets. You hear it from their fans. Like I think at the end of the day, and there's not much I can say because yes, they won the World Series more recently, and also it's like at that time, if you're playing better than them, like what am I supposed to do? You know. So I don't know. I just think at the end of the year, it's one thing if the Yankees or the Mets were in some type of dynasty where they've won 2 World Series in the last 5 years, 4 years, something like that. But I think honestly, like, I don't know. I just think the both of us can't be so pompous.
But I just don't get how you couldn't see it. I know it. Obviously, we're always going to defend our team, but just how there's not like just a clear separation. Though. That's what I don't get. And I know you could talk about the Subway Series this year, but it's 4 games. It was played during our worst stretch of the season. And I said this the other day, but it's like you win a championship by winning the World Series, not the Subway Series. It's like 4 games. It doesn't matter. So I don't know if that's what it is, but like that's what it's just hard for me. It's like, why should we ever be grouped with the Mets? And like what Grassa was saying about the Twins coming, like it's just like it seems like we're completely separate. Why are we grouping it?
Well, I don't think you should bring up the Grassa thing because that is ridiculous. All right, because the whole Twins thing is just not there. But I mean, it's because too, like, I mean, like these teams, the Mets and Yankees don't see each other unless it's the Subway Series. So obviously that's what you go off of.
Yeah. It just that's just what it is for me. That's it. Like it's like I'm not out for the Mets, but it's like I just feel like for me, I just have always had the attitude like what do you even say? Like,
I mean, there's gonna be that crosstown rival no matter what, dude.
Right,
I mean, someone who's a stone's throw from the Bronx.
Though, just because you're just going by records, it's like the Mets struggle to even make the playoffs like most years. You know what I mean?
If we go by World Series appearances in the last 10 years.
Yeah, but World Series appearances, how about just winning, being in the playoffs, winning championships overall? It just like it doesn't stack up. So that's why I just feel like it's just insane to even have a conversation to me. It's like, you know what I mean? And I don't get what's so outlandish about me saying, okay, going forward, if we see the Mets advancing further or winning championships, then I'll have a different mindset. But until that happens, I just feel like there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like a lot of Yankee fans don't focus on current rosters a lot of the time when they talk about the Yankees.
But even in current rosters, I mean, I feel like we have a better roster, no?
I don't think it's really that leaps and bounds better than us, honestly. Obviously, the addition of Jazz is huge.
Right, but I
mean, honestly, like Stanton is never healthy, all right? Volpe, yes, heating up now, but you never know. Verdugo, I mean, we talked about him playing above his own breeches. Like, you never really know. Obviously, DJ, the Grand Slam, it's nice, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, but I just think even a roster comparison and like guys like you would like, oh my God, I want this guy on my team. Like I think about the comparison. It's like the Yankees, like everybody would say that about Cole. Everybody would say that about Soto. Everybody would say that about Judge. And, and everybody would probably say that about Jazz. And those are just 4 guys or some other guys that you could argue. And then you look at the Mets and it's like, who is there really? I mean, Lindor just because he's had a good stretch, but there was a lot of concerns about him going into the year, the contract, even going forward. I still think even with the way he's produced this year, I think most teams wouldn't pay that contract.
I think you're right. I think if people look at Lindor's numbers and they understand how he's playing right now, I think they would be interested in him. You even said the other day he's like one of the best offensive one of the best shortstops in the game.
But the
right
difference is, I mean, what's left? 6 years on the contract?
But like the best shortstop in the game.
But I'm saying 6 years at an accelerated salary at his age, I guarantee like the Mets aren't going to try to trade him, but nobody's going to. You really think somebody, if like it was out there, like someone would take on that whole deal?
And you want to talk about years left? I mean, every year he's been trending upward. You look at his numbers. I think maybe one second year wasn't as good as his first, but regardless, his numbers have been trending upwards since he's been in the Mets. So
yeah, I mean, I get like that's.
You can't doubt that.
Yeah, I just think when we look at the roster, and then you go to the farm system as well. I just think it's just if you compare both things, I just feel like net like the Mets don't have too many guys that like teams are clamoring to get. That's just how I see it, honestly. I think they're in the rotation, especially. Like
I think Yankees leaps and bounds are a better pitching staff. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but just overall pitching staff, just guys that are top players in the game. I don't know. I just feel like there's no comparison. That's just how I see it. And it's like, I know it comes off as like, and
you don't really, by the way, I don't think you need top players of the game to win World Series. We've seen that before.
Yeah, but don't you think it's?
I mean, it helps, sure.
No, especially with the Yankees. I mean, you talk about the 15 years that they haven't won. I mean,
Judge has still been the best player in the league.
No, but I'm saying you can't say, and obviously the playoffs this year hasn't started, but you can't say that like they didn't need to get Soto. They had to get Soto.
Right.
Like, so you do need. I feel like honestly, you look at most teams. Sure, there are some, I'm trying outliers. But like most teams that win World Series have two really good hitters that are probably in the top 10 of the league most years.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can't argue with that.
So it's just like, and too, the Yankees, like you want to talk about the failures in the playoffs, the hitting has been the problem. And it's like, so Soto was an absolute necessity. And it just, those guys are tough to get. So, that's what they had to do. But interesting point. And I really hope that, that the time this season ends, that we could have a little more, like, I don't know, just kind of a closure on the situation. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see what happens, I guess.
If you had to put a number on it, though, like this type of conversation, how long do you think we could go for, honestly?
Forever. I still have more points in my head I can talk about right now. I mean,
I don't know what it is. And you probably feel the same way, but it's just something like, it's just one of those topics that I just like Lonnie even says in the comments about letting it go. It's just like, or can't get over, whatever. But it's just one of those things. Yeah, I don't think like every time I think about it, I'm just like, what are we even talking about?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, what team would you think the Dodgers are able to be talking shit to Yankees? I mean, again,
they've been the Yankees 2.0 other than the 1 year where they don't have to play road playoff games, and then they've had a lot of years lead the league in wins. They're not even in the NLCS.
I know, which is crazy.
Bad. So really, and that kind of speaks it to the point I was making before where there's no dominant team this year. So
I know, it's so crazy.
It's wide open. It's exciting.
Oh my God, dude! I think about that freaking wild card series with the Padres every night, dude.
Yeah, that was. I
mean, the Padres had 100 wins, right? So didn't the Giants have almost 100 wins that year too?
No, the Padres. I don't think they had 100 wins that year.
It must have been like 90 something, and the Giants had 100 wins.
That was the Giants and the Dodgers. Padres finished third that year.
Unbelievable, dude.
So yeah, stretch run, playoffs, can't wait. And then a couple more here. And then let's see. So watching Tony crumble to that comment was hilarious. Thanks, Barnes. And your mother.
I didn't crumble to anything.
It was what? But I saw it was like 10 minutes ago at this point. I don't know what specifically. I don't know if it was just a comparison or whatever, but I think with the Lindor, probably.
That's hogwash. It's ridiculous, dude. It's soups to nuts.
And then your mother, speaking to that, says, my son does not crumble.
That's right.
And then Lottie says, Tony, you are still handsome, you stud, you.
Oh, thank you, Lottie.
And then he says, I'm playing mom, don't kill me. Hi, Tony's mom. By the way, then she says, okay, chairman. And he says, it's Lonnie. Please don't call me chairman with the handshake emoji.
Oh, gosh.
And then he says, Barnes can can give over the Grassa take, which I'm guessing he means can't get over. And he says, oh, yep. And then he says, can't. And then he says, they need to have a great debate. And then Michael says, legends. So yeah, that's a long-winded way to say Severino killing my fantasy team yesterday.
That's your fault, by the way. It's your fault. You said, pick them back up. Let's go, Sevy, and then absolutely gets hammered. That absolutely gets tattooed on the mound yesterday. I'll bring up this box score again. Like you said, though, not much to talk about. Kind of crazy, honestly. Sevy looked pretty good that first inning. I think he even had a couple of strikeouts, to be honest. Maybe his 2 strikeouts came in this first inning, but nonetheless looked okay. I would say probably watching the bottom of the first, Lindor first at bat gets his home run robbed from him, maybe on like the second pitch of the game for him there. And so you're like, all right, like this is the way this game's going to go. And then of course, second inning, everything's kind of fine, I guess. Sevy gives up that solo shot to Byron Buxton, of course. Really was, again, watching Sevy, sometimes he makes these mistakes in the beginning of the game. This pitch just, I don't know, I forget what it was supposed to be, but whatever it was supposed to be, it was middle, and Buxton, like probably one of the better swings I've seen, honestly, this year out of anybody.
Yeah.
Ropes this one, 435 feet. Obviously solo shot. I think it was maybe his 15th home run of the year, which for him, I don't know. He's been underwhelming ever since, honestly, forever, I feel.
Yeah.
Maybe he had 1 year when he was, I don't know, a few years ago, maybe.
Yeah, he's always hurt. And he's a great outfielder. They can't play him in center because he gets hurt.
I know, so much. And I feel like there was probably a stretch where you're watching multiple inside the park home runs with him.
Yes.
And then, like, I don't know, whatever with that guy. But nonetheless, the very next half inning here, Vientos gets his 16th home run of the season, a 2-run blast. Not only tying the game, put him up 2-1. So you're like, all right, let's go. It's the offense. Vientos is on fire. This is great. Sevy, we've seen this before. He can settle down, give us 6, maybe, give another earned run, which was obviously too much to ask for because that third inning, I think to start off the inning, I think it was like, I don't know, 5 consecutive hits he gave up. Like, absolutely, just literally gets popped.
Just bad. What was it, though? Location? Is that?
I would say at the end of the day, it's location.
Yeah. Was the velocity okay?
It's been copacetic. It's usual.
But was there no movement on the fastball? Was it just straight?
I guess. I don't know if he just wasn't able to have movement on it or just wasn't able to hit his targets. But everything was over the middle of the plate. And then, we've seen it sometimes. The Twins too. Coming into the All-Star break, their offense was starting to get going. And clearly, I don't know, they must have just, after that third inning, they just got some confidence. Because we saw it too in this series. They only scored 4 runs in the first 2 games of the series, Then we scored 8 tonight. Last night, I should say. But like I was saying, it was just all hits, dude. RBI single scores Martin Kepler, RBI single Lewis, RBI double. Wallner comes in, homer 6-2, just like that. And at this point, kind of taking obviously the pitching or the management off guard here. Nobody was in the bullpen warming up. Obviously, so they kind of had to keep Sevy in there while this was going on. McGill was warming up. So he ends up. Kind of coming in there. Sevy, ends up, only 3 innings. He pitches 6 hits, 6 earned runs, only 2 Ks through 62 pitches over those 3 innings too. So literally torched, dude. And it's actually kind of funny because I think the Cohen was talking about this during the broadcast. I guess the Twins did this to Sevy back in like 2018 or something, or 2017 on the Yankees. Same deal. Like it was 3 innings, third inning gets absolutely hammered, which is pretty interesting there, I guess, just food for thought there. But at that point, it was just too much. Pablo Lopez, we talked about him too. He's been absolutely heating up, playing his best baseball recently. And he had a pretty solid outing, 6 innings from him, 2 earned runs, 7 Ks. Like we said, the ERA is a little high, but that was just because of the first half. The second half, he has been killing it.
Yeah, really was a terrible first half for fantasy. After coming off his best season of his career, you were thinking maybe fatigue, but now he showed something the last couple of starts.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm sure we'll start paying dividends for your fantasy team. But nonetheless, I guess the Mets try to get some things going, but I don't know. They just obviously the offense at that point just couldn't, and they were too down. They were too much down. It was just one of those games where you just knew it was over by the third inning, honestly. So that's that. It is what it is. McGill came in. I guess he did all right. Pitched 2 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 Ks, 1 earned run. I guess. McGill is someone who I don't know. I think he should be off the team. I'm kind of off McGill. Yeah.
Even as a 1 inning reliever, you don't think he could Because I feel like they always use him as a multi-inning if he's out of the bullpen. No?
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely. And in this scenario, you kind of need to use him for multiple innings, you know? But I don't know if he has the fucking gut to go in there with like runners on, one run lead.
Yeah,
to set up. I don't think he has that mentality.
What's his problem? Is he just like he doesn't have location? Like what is his?
If I remember correctly, I think his fastball is at like 95.
Okay.
I don't know. It just seemed like one of those guys who could never put together like 2 or 3 good pitches to have a batter just like question.
So he's predictable.
Exactly. Yeah. I guess that's what I'm saying at the end of the day. And I just want to check the velocity while we're sitting here. Let's see, McGill, 4-seamer, 94, 95. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I guess predictability at the end of the day. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, we've seen him so many times. It's not like I've never seen him be so dominant. Maybe honestly, like his first 3 starts as a Met, he was good with the fans, family in the stands.
A good starter or two.
I remember. Maybe
he had at least one good start. I remember definitely. If I know, yes, one good start, but he's missed a lot of time this year.
He has missed a good amount of time with injury, and obviously, I mean, the whole pitching staff as a whole has been crazy. They've been jerking him around in terms of playing time. Is he in the rotation? He's a reliever, and that has been kind of his story. He's been up actually in the majors too. But at the end of the day, if he was really fucking good, he'd be in the rotation. So like that's just what it is at the end of the day. Kind of crazy game too. I saw some of the ridiculous things. I want to say, in that blow up inning in the top of the third. I forget who was stealing second. Alvarez behind the plate goes to throw. Ball slips out of his hand. Literally throws it to Pete Alonso at first. And then we know, Alvarez had that injury on his thumb, that he had surgery on. So I don't know if that takes into account there. But I feel like we haven't seen Alvarez throw anybody out in a while.
And also, he's just not hitting good right now.
No, he's been struggling, honestly, since the All-Star break. And I've been really pulling for him to freaking figure it out. Especially because he's on a fantasy team. Obviously, a lot of implications there for the Mets and everything, too. Also, another thing I never saw in my life, dude. So this scenario, I believe this was, I wrote down top of the 4th inning here. Max Kepler at the plate. I forget who was on second, Lee or something, but runners on first and second, 1 out. McGill's pitching and strikes out Kepler. Kepler's a lefty, right? So he's walking across home plate to go to the dugout. And I guess Alvarez saw Lee leading too much on second, goes to throw to second, hits Kepler in the back of his helmet as he's walking across home plate. Umpire calls batter interference, calls the runner at second out because of it.
But he's saying Oh, no, but Kepler, who scored, they're saying
No, Kepler struck out at the plate. Kepler
gotcha.
Swung and missed, struck out.
Oh, but they're saying
and just started walking, which he didn't purposely do it.
But that's what they were saying.
But it was crazy, because Alvarez threw the ball at the back of Kepler's head. Yeah. And he still just kept walking, by the way. Didn't even like respond to it. Alvarez was like, what the fuck's going on? But it was just such a crazy thing. Because then, of course, argument and everything ensued, whatnot. But it was one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen. And then for the runner at second to be called out because of that. And then just like that, the inning was over because it was 1 out. So it was a double play almost like that. So it was kind of crazy. But the 9th inning, I think Alvarez actually had a ground out RBI, I think, or something. But obviously too little, too late. Twins ended up winning this game 8-3. Mets do not sweep. But Zach and I were talking about it. Zach threw this little tidbit that the Mets have not won or lost a series since in July or June, which I did a little research. They lost 1 series against Houston, I think in like the 2nd week of June. Okay. Other than that, it's been splits or wins. Which is kind of crazy. And I believe I saw a stat yesterday. This was, I think, a couple of days ago, though. But the Mets have the most wins in July out of any team in the MLB. I think at the time, this was 2 days ago. They had 15 wins, and no one was even close to having 15 wins in July.
Couple things here. So
what do you got?
First, I guess actually before I get to this comment, what are you said most wins in July. What are you anticipating August looking like?
It's a great question. I mean, look, I understand a lot of these guys aren't going to be, going on this tear. Yeah. But I mean, honestly, right now, it seems like Vientos is really heating up. So I would expect him to continue to play like this. Alvarez, I'm thinking he's going to bounce back. So honestly, I would think somewhere around that amount of wins
like
in
near
August
the
as
top
well.
of the league again.
I would think so. I mean, we got to go. I would definitely like to go
What about that
over-
road trip though? You got 2 West Coast road trips.
We got 10 games ahead of ourselves, but it's like the Cards who've been heating up. I think we start off with the Dodgers, and then we even go to Colorado.
No. The Angels, then 1 game in St. Louis, and then Colorado.
Right, but it's Dodgers first, no?
No, it's the Angels.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, maybe I was mixing my LAs.
Yeah, because Tyler Anderson versus Paul Blackburn.
Oh, my
donning
God.
the
Okay.
Mets uniform for the first
So he
time.
is getting the start tomorrow. Yeah, Zach was saying that, which is like interesting. But we were talking about too. Scott is a little injured. Obviously, Senga's not coming back. So I guess you'll have to use him in the starting position.
But I mean, that's a tough road trip.
Yeah, it is. It is very tough. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's the Angels. I mean, give me a break. Quintana's been pitching great. That 1 game against St. Louis, they don't have a pitcher posted there, but it's Manaea who's just got off one of his best starts of the year. And that is weird. The 1 game in St. Louis, then the Colorado. Severino starts out that series. A little nervous about that, but against Freeland, like, come on, dude. And again, I mean, you imagine Colorado. The Mets, if their bats are still hot, they're going to be killing it. Seattle could be a little bit, but then you're at Oakland. Oh, you're back home then at that point to in the middle of August. Oakland, Miami, back to back. So I mean, that you expect 2 victories there in terms of those 2 series. Baltimore is going to be tough, and then you're on the road again to end August. You're in San Diego, in Arizona,
In Chicago.
and then you're in Chicago. Kind of crazy schedule.
It's funny not to sound like dog, but I feel like the biggest concern here is the travel.
The travel is kind of crazy. Jesus, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm looking. It's like they don't get many days off either.
But right? I mean, isn't that like it's not even about the guys on the field for you? That
2,
probably
3,
is
4,
the biggest
5, 6,
concern
7,
of
8.
this month is just the schedule in terms of the travel, not even the opponents.
Literally. So they're off on the 12th, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th.
They're off the 26th.
They have 2 days off.
and they're 20 days on the road.
20. Yeah, that's crazy. That is a ridiculous schedule. But regardless, I mean, these teams aren't great.
Right.
I mean, and it's actually kind of crazy because in September starts, and obviously you see a lot of Philadelphia in there, which could be.
Boy, September is kind of a gauntlet, really.
Yeah, no fucking shit, dude. Obviously Washington, but you have Philly in Philly, and then a 4-game set after Washington at home against Philly. 3 on the road for Atlanta, 3 on the road against Milwaukee. And Milwaukee, I'm imagining, I haven't checked, but they're still probably first in the Central, right?
Yeah. So you're ending your season with series against 4 out of 5 playoff teams.
Fucking hate that so much. It's every year. It's like Philly's Braves to end the year.
They want those
fucking
divisional
sucks,
matchups
dude.
at the end of the season. That's what it is.
Oh, damn, that sucks. I mean, August has to be good. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's on the road. It's going to be a great, let's go 15 wins again. Best team in August. And then in typical Met fashion, they struggle in September, but they still make a wild card.
Well, you said typical Met fashion. You can't say the wild card. I mean, typical would be out of the playoffs if it's typical.
I suppose, but the other year when the 100-win season, they still fumbled it in September and they were in the wild card because of it.
I remember watching that Sunday night baseball game against Atlanta. That
Brutal,
was crazy. And everyone's talking about, oh, well, they just win here. It's no problem. They're fine. They're going to win here.
Not. It was literally like 06, honestly, like all over again.
Yeah.
Blowing in September to the Braves, I guess this time.
Yeah.
Literally, like needed to win 1 game sort of scenario.
Yeah. Matthew Ryan on a bender right now. So it's all caps for all these comments.
Naturally.
Hey, Tony.
Yep. He was texting
just
me too,
accept
dude.
it. The Mets suck. Dude, accept it. 5-10. The road trip. 0-10. Won't win a game. Oh, my fucking God. This is going to be so funny. No playoffs for the Mets. 0-15 coming up.
Well, honestly, I mean, obviously it is tough. I wish we had a schedule like the Yankees had coming up. That's kind of crazy. But nonetheless, dude, I think the Mets will prevail. Mendoza, great attitude. Lindor obviously has been still killing it. All right. And you can't argue against that. Like I said, certain guys are heating up. Naturally, I'm desperately worried about the pitching, dude. I mean, I'm looking at this gauntlet, and I could see in Colorado just Sevy giving up 8 runs in like the first inning.
Yeah.
Like,
So it helps the bats, but it helps the bats on the Rockies as well.
Exactly. No, exactly. So, but even so, I mean, Blackburn, Anderson to start off in LA. I mean, give me a break with Anderson, Soriano, Canning.
But I mean, let's be real though. Anderson, was an all-star this year. He's been the better pitcher.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, he's the one bright spot coming out of the Angels, I guess you could say right now, but I mean, come on, dude. I mean, if anything, they lose that game and then they win the next two. I mean, Quintana's been pitching well. Peterson is laborable, you know. Against the Angels, like, give me a break, dude.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Why? What do you think? Come on. Like, this road trip is not crazy. Seattle's good. Baltimore's good.
So it's a 10-game road trip?
Let's see. Well, I guess, 3, 6, 9, and then 8. Yeah, 10. Then St. Louis.
Just hate when people text me. Like, just leave me alone. Anyway, the 10, I think, honestly, they're going to go 5-5. What's your prediction?
Out of this 10?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. I can see a 6-4.
Okay. So similar mindsets here.
7-3, though, is what I'm hoping for. Let's go.
Why not 10-0? Right.
Oh, well, let's be realistic here. Obviously, hope for 10-0, of course, dude.
And then Matthew Ryan, no playoffs for the Mets. Typical Mets, no playoffs again. Wah. Tony's crying. Wah. I am ready for my dinner. From what? Tony. But the playoff bet or something, what was it?
Oh, it's right.
What is
dude.
the bet?
I think it's just the Mets making the wild card. I think.
Yeah.
And then I have a separate bet going on with Riley that the Mets have a better record than the Red Sox, which I actually haven't checked the Red Sox record recently. Let's see what they're at 57-50. So the Mets 57-51. So hopefully Riley can eat his words there, dude, with that one.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Light schedule tonight, but still enough for a full-on baseball frenzy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the first frenzy of August. Brian, I can't believe we're in August right now, but it is absolutely crazy. We talked about it. Mets and Yankees are off here. We do have 5 games going on tonight. So do you want to do 2 and 2 heads up?
2, and then the last one will be heads up.
All right, so let's see what we got here. We have Orioles at the Guardians, Royals, the Tigers. I feel like Seth Lugo hasn't pitched in a while, and I hate how ESPN is set up on the iPad. Nonetheless, dude, of course, the Wi-Fi, tough, dude. Pitching matchup, Seth Lugo, pitching for the Royals, baby. Let's freaking go. Excuse me. This is the first game of, I think, a 4-game set in Detroit for these two teams here. Kansas City leads the regular season series 4-2. You know how dominant the Royals have been. Seth Lugo, 12-5. I'll say it again, one of the better records around the MLB for a starting pitcher. Give me the full game shutout against Detroit. They suck 52-57. As of recently, in their last 5, they're so load, it won't. It doesn't really matter. They dropped 4 that swept, in a 2-game set by Cleveland. Royals coming off the sweep against the the White Sox. So let's go Royals and the under here. I say they win. I'll say 4-0, Brian. What's your first game?
I'm going to take Uncle Chuck, Connecticut native himself,
Wow.
Charlie Morton, facing up against the Marlins here, 5-6, 4-16 up against Meyer, who missed a lot of time coming off an injury earlier this year, 2-0, 3 ERA. I think this is the Braves' time to really go on a run here. I know they've had some injuries, but they also made some trades. Getting Soler back, I think, is huge. Luke Jackson as well, guys from that World Series team. So against a weak opponent like the Marlins, especially at home here, I think Morton gives them 6 shutout innings. I think the offense scores 5 runs, and they win 5-1. So it's the Braves, and it's the under.
Braves in the under, very interesting. With the Orioles have an undecided out there with Lively getting tried out there for the Guardians. Pretty interesting there. I love the pitching matchup of Sonny Gray versus Shota Imanaga here. Battle of 2 great pitchers here. Imanaga, you can argue, maybe has a little bit of an advantage, but both these teams winning 3 of their last 5 here. Cubs just dropping 2 to Cincinnati. Cards picking up 2 against the Rangers here. St. Louis has been dominating the Cubs so far this year. They are hot right now. This is so tough, dude. I would say Sonny Gray gets it. Let's go with the win here. Sonny Gray goes 7 innings, 2 earned runs. Shota Imanaga, a respectable 6 innings, 3 earned runs, but does not get the job done in the Cards in the top of the 9th. Give me a 2-run blast by, let's say, Nolan Gorman for his 20th home run of the year. Cards end up holding on. They win this game. I'll say 5 to 4. So that's Cardinals and the over, Brian.
All right, I'm going to take the Guardians in the over. Series here against the Orioles. Blake Lively getting the start. Undecided for Baltimore. I don't know if Trevor Rogers is ready just yet. But the Orioles, I know they won yesterday. Jackson Holiday back, grand slam. I think that was his first career home run, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like the team they've been. I know they've made all these additions. Guardians bats have cooled off after a great start to the season, but I think at home here, they're going to get the job done. So I think we're going to see the Guardians take this one by the score of 7-3. So it's the Guardians and it's the over.
Third game here for both of us.
Common game.
The common game. Rockies at Angels
The
here.
game of the night.
Honestly, 9:38 p.m. in LA. I would say the Angels are -120, over under 8.5. This is the rubber match here as these teams have split the first 2 games. Very interesting so far. First game, Angels win 10-7. Game 2, Rockies win 2-1. The tale of 2 teams, 2 games. I guess I just pick first, and you just.
Well, I was going to say, to make it
do?
fair, you could take either one, first pick of the total or the winner, and then I'll take the subsequent.
Okay, cool. Very interesting here. The pitching matchup: Carson Fulmer for the Angels, Ryan Feltner with a 1-10 record for the Rockies. They're in Anaheim. I say the Angels win.
Okay, Angels. So I'm gonna say
Over under is 8.5.
Okay, so you're gonna get the Angels
Yeah.
in the over. I will take the Rockies in the under. Is this a potential World Series matchup in 30 years?
Not a chance, dude.
Just like that. That is your baseball frenzy.
Just like that, dude.
Just like that. So definitely a light day, but we can't forget Hall of Fame game tonight, 8:00.
That's
on
right.
ESPN.
Are you juiced up?
It's the Bears and it's the
Pack, no.
Texans. Yes. Do we know who's gonna start?
No idea, dude.
Let's see.
I mean, let's see if we got. Where are they doing? Is it on ESPN?
It's on ESPN and it's played at the Hall of Fame because the induction ceremony is over the weekend.
Mhm.
So CJ Stroud and starters not playing.
Kind of crazy, dude.
Let's see.
I mean,
Caleb
kind of
Williams
expected.
not playing. So Tyson Bagent is getting the start for the Bears. DJ Moore just signed some record-breaking contract extension for them. Really interesting team, the Bears here.
Mhm.
And I guess they're going to be on Hard Knocks, right? Yeah, because we looked that up the other day.
That's correct.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. Good to have football back. I'll definitely watch some of this just to see it. And I always like seeing a game played there because it's like a place where there's not really many football games, so just kind of something different. I've
That's
been
cool.
there as well. So it's
yeah?
kind of cool. Yeah, we went probably almost 10 years ago at this point.
Wow.
But yeah, kicked a couple field goals on the field. Threw the ball around with my dad. A good time and crazy. It was a long time ago that I was at the Baseball Hall of Fame. Maybe 6 years before that or even longer. But I thought the Football Hall of Fame far outdid the Baseball Hall of Fame.
No kidding.
Mhm.
I've never been in a baseball hall of fame.
Yeah, maybe it'd be different now, but at the time, I don't know. I just thought it was like very, very boring.
My mother is
honestly.
trying to plan a trip to go, honestly.
To Cooperstown.
Yeah.
But I would give it another shot. So be interesting to see. I would like to go back to the Football Hall of Fame too. I'm sure it's changed a lot. It would be cool to go to this weekend sometime.
That would be sick, dude.
Depending on who's getting elected into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Hockey Hall of Fame was sick. I was there in Toronto.
In Toronto,
Yeah.
that was. I still haven't checked out that or the basketball. So something I was
Very
like to do.
very inclusive.
Yeah.
Because there's like you can do like a slap shot thing. There's even where you can be a goaltender. They give you like, some
And I know
pads
the
and stuff.
basketball has some stuff like that too. So yeah,
I've never been there, but Micah said it was like not that great.
really.
Yeah.
I was just talking to someone yesterday who said it was great.
Really interesting. There's a funny story that Gretzky was telling during the playoffs of his time going to the Hockey Hall of Fame, and he was doing like the game where you try to shoot and get it past the goaltender, and he was like missing. He missed his first 2 pucks, and he said that the kid that he was working there must have not known who he was.
Yeah,
because the kid like was like trying to give him pointers on like how to shoot and stuff.
Mhm.
Hilarious. No, you don't think so?
No, it is,
Come
but
on.
it just shows obviously not an accurate game. I mean,
Could you imagine the look on the kid's face when he realized, yo, that guy Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
Which how do you not even fucking know who that is? You're the whole thing ridiculous.
Yeah, especially you're at the Hockey Hall of Fame. It's not like you saw him on the streets of New York or
But
something.
it's dope. Dude. They got like, hockey sweaters or jerseys from like the 30s. Obviously, Rangers, a lot of memorabilia there.
94.
Story team. Yep. Original 6 team. A lot of stuff for the Montreal Canadiens back in, having freaking however many cups they've had, 20, 18, whatever it was. Even the Maple Leafs, too.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy that the Canadiens by far have the most cups as an organization, and then the Maple Leafs have the second
And
most.
they both haven't won in like 40 years.
They suck.
Yeah, or longer than that.
Crazy,
Haven't the Maple
dude.
Leafs not won since the 60s?
I'm trying to think.
Pretty sure.
They haven't won in my lifetime, so I don't know what.
It
so
definitely is. So yeah, interesting stuff here.
mhm.
But another great show today.
Phenomenal stuff.
Really appreciate everybody who tuned in and continues to comment, like, and subscribe.
Matthew
All of the
Ryan.
archives on the YouTube page. Tony, Michael,
Frenzy.
Renee, and Jane costume the merch at downtimetv.com.
Mhm.
Want everybody to enjoy the games, and we will see you mañana with the Echo.
Wow, that was.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.
1967, last title.